Hi everyone, this is Erin from Sandpaper Road, and today I'm sharing with you a tutorial for the Base Creator die set made by Tonic. And I made this mini album with some Craft-A-Clock paper. This is the Plum and Chocolate paper collection. Oh my goodness, just in time for Valentine's Day or any other type of gift, or for just for yourself if you love purple. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I just added some fibers, and these are some embellishments from the collection. I'm going to actually show this little flip through also again at the end, because you'll see different things at the end than you're seeing right now. This is just an initial look at what I'm going to show you how to make. Look at that. Look at this, all kinds of little pullouts and pockets, and these are from the little junk journal set that coordinates with the collection. There's little envelopes. I really didn't have to hand create too much to make this album. So when I say it's really simple to me to make, I'm not just saying that. Look at the little metal charm and the quotes and the little chipboard elements and the flowers. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun making this album. Now, this was actually done as a creative team project for Craft-A-Clock, and a walkthrough of the album is over on their YouTube channel. I encourage you to check it out. This is a little bit different because I'm showing the Tonic Base Creator die set as the feature part of this video. But if you're interested in the paper collection, you can check out the links below, especially if you live in the USA and don't want to pay for international shipping. I have this collection over in the Sandpaper Road shop if you're interested. There's also links for the Tonic Base Creator die set in the description as well. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Really, this is the whole purpose of this video is just kind of to show you how I used the dies to make this album. I love that you could add like pictures or put pictures in the pockets, or you don't have to add pictures at all. And I used a little washi tape in the middle of the spine there. This is the die set, okay? And this is taking it brand new out of the box. There's one big, large die there that you can use as the base. If you want, you could see it's just a little bit more than, what is that, about 6¼ inches. I tried to show a ruler against the white so you could see about how long it is, by about 8 inches. That's about the longest, or the biggest one is about 6¼ by 8. It's got those dimensions on the packaging. But then they've got a series of, you could do a series of different sizes. Now, if this is your first look at this die set, and you're a little confused, the Tonic YouTube channel has a lot of really good tutorials. I'm just showing you how I do mine, okay? Which is really the same, but sometimes it helps to see like a person not necessarily associated with Tonic doing it as well. So you'll notice that I'm cut the little flap there on the die will not cut out. See that flap there? It won't cut clear through the paper. See how it didn't cut it clear through? So what I do is I actually position my die. I'll show you this again. I position my die on the page so that I get extra flap. And then I just hand cut out all the rest. Okay? So I'm just using these. See how I put it up right against the edge, but the part with the flap has extra paper. That's because I know that part with the extra die, the part that doesn't cut, is going to get extra room. I don't know if that's making any sense. But what I'm doing right now is just making the outside cover. See there? The part with the extra, I'm giving some extra, and then I just cut that off there. Now it will perforate around the perimeter of the whole thing, but that gives me a nice base. And now I don't have to decide right that second how big I want my album. I can just wait for later and decide how big I want my album, which you can do anyway, but this is just the way I like to do it. Now the other dies, there are dies then that coordinate that don't have a flap. And those are ones that when you die cut that paper, it will be like a panel, like an inside panel to decorate. So I was just trimming this sheet of paper so it fits in my big shot. Now this one I'm not being very particular about about where I'm putting it, if it's the edge or whatever, other than I'm looking more at the image on the paper, because this one will cut all the way through on all sides. See? So the ones that don't have the flap cut all the way through. Now that you can see mounts and becomes like an inside panel. That looks really good. I like that look a lot. So I just wanted to show you that, and I'll continue through here. I'm going to show you, I think, step by step for this first bit, but the rest of it is just a matter of doing the same exact thing. See how I'm more concerned with the inside panel with the image than I'm die cutting, rather than the positioning of the die cutting. So once I run that through, you can see it cuts all the way through, and then I've got the panel. Okay, so that'll be the front and the back of my mini album. See, and those will go together like this on the inside, and that'll be the front and the back. And I can decorate, add more panels on the inside, you know. It's really just repeating this process. But anytime you use a die that has a flap, you're going to end up with that flap side that doesn't cut all the way through. So you have a choice of how long you make that flap. I really like that a lot. As a matter of fact, when I make this album again, I think I'm going to use a little bit bigger paper. I'm going to make a smaller album so that I can have a bigger flap. Now I'm using some Scor Tape. I usually use a combination of the 1/2-inch Scor Tape and the 1/4-inch Scor Tape, just because that's what I like for different reasons. And I've got a little bone folder that I burnish it down with. I also use the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive by Tonic as my liquid adhesive, because I really, really, really like that adhesive a lot. But I use that for different things. So just showing you there we go. See? Now, I'm going to repeat that process there, sort of, except that I chose some paper for the pages. Now, if this is the die set, or the die size that I used for the pages, for the cover, then I'm going to choose one size smaller for the pages. Make sure you do that. That I learned the hard way, even though they said it in the Tonic video. I don't know if I forgot or what, but whatever you use for the cover, do one size smaller for the pages, and you just repeat the same process. So see how I'm moving the die clear to the edge to give more flap room. See, this one has a flap. You can tell because it's got extra room on the one side. So it won't cut out that side that's on the top there where I put the tape. It won't cut that out. And that means I've got a nice long extra flap, and I can decide what I want to do later. If you cut it too short, you don't have too much of a choice. Now in this video, I actually end up cutting them all short anyway, but it doesn't matter because I made that choice later. So by leaving yourself extra room, it just gives you a lot more choice later. Look, I pulled some paper off with my washi tape, but I didn't really stress about that because I knew I was going to cover up that with a panel anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. I just have to be mindful that tape, I think I've had that tape for a long time, and I think I pressed too hard. Now I'm just going to show you quick. I'm not going to go through and cut all of these pages on camera, okay? But just wanted to give you the idea that 2 pages back to back are going to be 1 page in the book. See that? And that's how they're going to fit, just like that. See how it's a little smaller? just one little size smaller. You need 2 of each kind back to back to make your pages. Okay. And now I'll cut the panel. And of course, you don't have to cut the panel. You could leave it plain, especially, you know what you could do is if you have a really big picture, you could actually cut a picture with a panel. Wouldn't that be cool? And just have your panel be like a die cut photo. That would be really nice. I wouldn't make it so that 2 pictures are laying, like when the book is closed, if 2 pictures are laying face to face with each other, because they might stick together. But yeah, that's a cool idea. Cutting a picture with one of the panels. So same process, just cutting a panel. You'll see this die doesn't have the little flap side, so it'll cut it all the way out. And let me grab my page here. Okay. And this will go right there on top. So see, you won't even see that little piece that rips off. That looks nice. Doesn't that look good? So you'll need 6. Because it's going to be, you're going to have 3 like pages that stick out, which means you're going to need 6 panels if you want a panel on each one of those pages. Okay. So this is essentially how it's going to look. There's the panels. And I don't tend to glue anything down right away. I just glued a few on the cover to show you. But what I tend to do is just lay them. And then I put them aside because sometimes I don't know, sometimes I change my mind. And when you're sitting down and doing art, it's so forgiving. So I just kind of roll with it. And if I stick something down, then it's not as easy to change my mind. I really like this paper. Like I said before, it's called Plum in Chocolate. And then also for the pages, I used, it's called the Basic Set. This might be Basic Set number 4, which are just basic collections. So this is the spine die. That's what I call it. And it coordinates with the bookmaker set. Now what I do is when I get it, I cut the top off the packaging and then use the packaging to store the die. It just makes it easier for me to find in my stuff. Now, if you've never made a mini album, this spine, let me explain here. See these little notches? They're used to adjust the size, and also that is where you will put your tape, okay, on those pieces with the notches. So they make it pretty foolproof. Now, I do some things a little bit out of order here, which I regret, but I left my mistakes in the video just so then I have a chance to explain why you shouldn't do what I did. But it cuts out really easy, and I know you probably can't see on the white very close where the notches are, but when you're in person, of course, with the die yourself, you can see them very easily. And remember that the notches are there for 2 reasons. They give you a size guide if you're making smaller albums, and they also show you where to put the tape. Now, this is where I think I messed up, and I would do this differently the next time I use this die set. See how I just jump right on and just stick the tape on right away? I was just so excited to stick the tape on. All right, what I should have done is taken this right there and used the notches as the guide and trimmed the paper to fit the size of my album. Before I started folding, I should have trimmed it while it was flat. But alas, I did not do that, and so I had to end up trimming it with scissors after the fact. It ended up fine. It's just, I think it would have made my life a little easier. So all you're doing is folding then right on the crease marks, the score marks, and you fold so that tape sticks to tape, okay? So you pull off 2 pieces at a time that are next to each other, and then fold it so tape sticks to tape. Make sure you burnish it real good and fold it back up. And what you'll do is you'll get these little mountains, these little mountain folds. See? Okay, so we're folding it just like that, and tape will stick to tape. So you'll end up with 3 little mountains in your spine, and that is going to actually hold the pages. And like I said, Tonic does a really good job of explaining this, so I definitely encourage you to check out their videos as well. Now I score this really good. I burnish this down really good and press it and just kind of work it in there. Now you can add more. I mean, you could have a huge book just by adding more of those spines. But do you see how it's longer than my book and how smart it would have been if I would have trimmed it before I started folding? Because now I'm going to have to trim it after the fact, you see. So now here's the thing, is that there's a perforation mark in my outside cover piece, but there isn't a score line. So I have to use my Scor-Pal, my scoreboard, and add a score line just on the outside of the perforation. The perforation that I'm talking about is that the die actually does it. It just adds like a little stitched outline. So you want to add a score line on the outside of the stitched line. And it's only on your cover pieces. You don't have to do that on the pages, only on the cover pieces. And then what I'm going to do is fit my spine so that it folds, the cover pieces kind of fold around the spine. You'll see here when I do it. I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. Probably get a piece for the, yeah. I went to get a piece for the outside. Now again, if I would have had more flap there, see how it would have probably like met in the middle instead of having that space that didn't cover. But that's okay. It's all fine. It's just I wanted to get a nice good piece for the outside. So what I'm going to do here is just basically trace, mark my size on my spine, trim this off. If you make a lot of mini albums, this is really a time saver. Just the spine die in itself is a huge time saver. There. Now see, now I'll add that to the outside. That's really good. And I know that it will fit because I measured it according to my inside spine. So I said I left the mistakes in. Like I said, this part is not a mistake. This part is okay. Sometimes I just forget about stuff because I get so excited and then I just forget. So I'm just coating all this in some Scor Tape. Of course, you could use liquid adhesive, but I didn't want to. Kind of because the double-sided adhesive is going to add some strength. So since this is the outside piece and the outside cover, I'm trying to add a little bit more strength. I probably should have used a piece of chipboard. Also, like, I think in retrospect, I should have put this piece right here on top of a piece of chipboard and then put the piece of chipboard on the album. But I didn't, and it still holds fine. It's just, I just think I should have done that maybe. Okay, so now I got this sticky sided piece and trying to make sure that I do this straight. So the easiest thing to do will be to turn it over and do it backwards. Now I don't want to put it right up against that score. Remember I added that score line? I don't put it right up against it because I will be sorry and my flap won't fold up. So much easier if I turn it over and just put it next to the score line. Okay? Yes, very good. Now I've got a sticky middle, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. And now I'm going to Make sure, just hold it up there, make sure that's going to fit. You notice I don't trim anything until the very end. I'm going to add a little bit more tape. Again, not over the score line. That score line is so important because you're making your outside book. You're making the outside cover. And if you can't fold that front and back flap comfortably, you're just going to be so angry with yourself. And it's going to be really hard to fix. Now see here, I'm adding a little bit of that Nouveau Deluxe adhesive just where I couldn't get tape. And that just as a reinforcement. Now I've got a really nice, good, sticky base there. That goes right up to the edge of that score line. In fact, some of the tape was inching over into the score line, so I just rolled it up with my fingers. Yeah, this is really nice. And I press it down. See how much smarter it would have been if I would have pre-measured my spine with these hinge flaps here and cut it off when it was flat. But oh no, I didn't do that. So now I have to reach in with my scissors and trim it off by hand. But as you can see, I mean, it comes off easily. It's just why I could have done it easier. So those are the Tonic scissors too, by the way, which I love. They work great. So now you get a better idea of what's happening. Now our pages that we've already cut, now we can make some choices. We could see how long do we want these pages to stick out? Do we want to have like a chunky book where it's a variety of pages that stick out from the inside? Do we want to have pockets? Do we want to seal all 4 sides shut? Do we want to seal 3 sides shut and have like a piece come out of the middle? You could just do all kinds of things. Now here I'm placing Scor Tape just right next to the perforation. I'm not going to do anything fancy with the actual pages. And now I'm just cutting just kind of against that Scor Tape. So even though I left the flap when I was die cutting the pages, I ended up cutting it off for this project, but it's not wasteful because I'll still use that as I'm making the mini album. It's just, you can't put paper back on once you die cut it out. Oh, and here is another mistake that I left in, because what I should have done before I attached my hinge is angled all these hinges and now I have to do it while it's attached to the book, which is a huge pain. So yes, I normally do this before I stick it in there, and I just forgot. And then I was like, ugh. So I have to now hold it funny and try to do it after the fact. So, oh my, I guess that happens. So yes, definitely do that before you stick it in the book, angling the hinges there. Now I stuck the first page in so you can see where we're headed, and now doesn't that look good? It just sticks right in there. See why I had to angle it? If it was straight, it would have looked horrible and been awkward. So let me show you how I did that, sticking that page in there. So here's one that I didn't cut the flap off yet. I didn't choose my size. I could have all the pages be different, like levels and stuff. But see, there's that perforation I'm talking about. So now what I'm going to do is stick, just to do what I just did before, I stick the tape just very, very close to that perforation line on the 2 pieces that I'm going to use as pages. Now these 2 pieces will make up one page, a front of the page and the back of the page. Okay. And see, I've got that big long flap, which I could leave it if I wanted to. you can just choose however long or wide you want your pages. Now I'm going to cut right near against that tape that I've used. So my pages will be like the same size because I did them the same way. Okay, they fit perfectly. And now that tape will be where it sticks into the book. Now, what I'm trying to decide, and I decide to use my liquid adhesive here, is I'm going to close off this entire page. This is where I was saying before, you could decide you don't want to close it off. You could leave it open. You could close off 3 sides and leave one side open. It's just kind of a matter of experimenting. So I'm going to close off the entire page for this page. Okay, now I can still reach in there and get the tape out. Now, let me show you what I mean by, because you might be thinking, what do you mean close off 3 sides? So I think that's what I do here. I'm showing you again, just putting the tape. I just didn't have quite a good enough piece there. And you do want this tape to go clear to the edge. Think about it. You're taping the entire page into the book, so you don't want to be skimpy with the adhesive. Now this one, I think I do 3 sides. Oh, no, I don't. I closed this one off too. I guess I'll show you on another another page. I thought I did it on 3 sides. The benefit of having doing 3 sides would be that you could slide a little piece in there. I think I'm thinking about that right now. Oh, I know what I did. I didn't trim off the I didn't trim the flap off beforehand. That's what I did. Yet another mistake. I should have trimmed the page before I closed off the page. Oh my. But see, when I was showing you that walkthrough at the beginning, you probably couldn't even tell that these things had happened along the way. Now here's what happens. You reach in there and maybe you have like a pick tool or a tweezer or some kind of a pokey tool or something, and you pull off just one tape. Okay? This is what I do sometimes. Sometimes I do it a little bit differently, but I didn't want to get my head in the camera shot. So now I can stick it down real good just on the one side and make sure it lines up really, really good. And now that it's stuck good, now I can reach in and pull out the other side and just press. See how it lines up really, really well with the other page? Yeah, that looks good. So let me show you again. I'm going to just reach in there and pull off one tape. And slide it down. Press this sticky side in. It lines up perfectly. And then I reach in and pull the other side off. And just press it down. And there is my book with my 3 pages in there. That's the base of the book. I love it. I love the shape. I love the cut. You can put panels on it, pictures on it. We've already cut all the panels, so now we can decide what looks good against which page. Do we want it in that order? Because I sealed down all the pages, if I want a pocket, I'm going to have to make the choice here. Maybe this is where I made the pocket, the three-sided panel, I think it is. Now, why would I use Scor Tape? Why didn't I just use the liquid adhesive? If I was doing this over again, I would probably I had the glue in my hand. I should have just done it. Oh, maybe I just didn't want to wait for it to dry. That's possible. Okay, so this is a good shot where you can see the that I'm sealing down just 3 sides. Okay. And sealing it down really, really well. I also made another album a while ago with the different, it's like a scallop cut of the Base Creator die set. And that's on my channel. I can link up to it so you can click to it a little bit faster. What I need to do is make these again on my channel, because I think as you make them more and more, there, see, with 3 sides, now you can slide a thing in like a pocket. Yeah, I need to make them more and more on my channel, and not just on my own, because it's neat to see the things you kind of learn along the way. And you know too, if you have dies, especially just even regular dies, the more you use them, the more you're like, oh, I think I'm going to do this next time I use this die, or stamps or anything like that. You just kind of learn how your products work as you use them more and more. Yeah, that looks really good. I like it. Now, these, I thought maybe I'm going to add a little bit of, I don't know, something in there. It just looks a little bit, I don't know, it just needed a little something, like a little bit of a wow factor where you go, oh, cool. I like the oh, cool thing, where you're looking at a project and then something else catches your eye that you didn't see right away. So I was thinking about what am I going to do for the oh, cool? And as I'm adhering this, pretty sure I'm thinking about washi tape or something that would go perfectly with this paper. Yeah, that looks good. I like the patterns in this collection. I like the combination of the basic set. The basic set, as I was saying before, is single-sided, and it's really good for card makers because it's got a white side and a pattern side. Did you see these are the brownish papers that I was using initially, where the pattern paper collection is double-sided. But the basic set, really, really good for mini albums and card makers because it's got a white side, and it gives you just a little bit more freedom and versatility. You're not like locked into having a double-sided paper. Yeah, that looks really good. It came together easy. I like that little pocket there. That looks good too. I left that bright yellow paper in so that I could remember it was a pocket. Now these are some embellishments. They coordinate with the collection. That is one of the decorative cards that comes from the decorative cards sheet. There are some other elements that come from this little booklet looking thing, I believe is also from decorative cards. Some of them come from the junk journal set. The flowers and the leaves you see that are cut out there, those are the extras to cut and the leaves to cut. There's really just a lot of fun stuff. There you'll see some chipboard elements. Those are from the Chipboard Die Cuts. That makes it really, really fun to play. And they are fussy cut elements, by the way. So if you're wondering about the tray that I have, I've said this before on my channel. I used to work for a nonprofit organization that is like a medical nonprofit. And so they would throw these, not throw out, but they would recycle these trays all the time because they would get medical supplies in that were donated, and they would come in these trays like wrapped in plastic or whatever. So I took a whole bunch of them. They were just going to recycle them, and I use them for crafting. I think they're for, honestly, I think catheters come in them. I mean, seriously, like new, like medical catheters. I think that's what it says on the thing. So if you know anybody in the medical field, definitely you could see if they have this kind of thing. But it's pretty handy to use for cutouts. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to play. Look at the tickets and the tags. The tags come on the back of well, there's some in the junk journal set, but there's also some that come on the back of the packaging of the 12 by 12 set too. So yeah, I'm not going to have you watch me like just sit here and glue embellishments, but I did want to leave this part in the video where you could see me kind of looking through the embellishments and stuff. Pretty sure I find my washi tape at this point. By the way, just a little FYI, that little dish you see with washi tape, that is the extent of my washi tape collection. I do not, I have only a few rolls. I do use them. They're for the perfect moments. That's what I love washi tape for. Like, look at this. It's script washi tape that's absolutely perfectly coordinates with this album. So here, now I'm going to show you, like I said, the walkthrough of the end album, and you can see why I didn't spend time showing you the glue and such. But you'll see where I put the washi tape. You'll see where I inked the edges. See how I inked the edges there of the pages? Look at the metal embellishments that I used. There's just some quotes. You could see I used some fibers that I had in my stash. There's the cardboard chipboard cutouts. That tag I actually glued in there and used. The metal embellishment kind of helps hold those little cut aparts in place. Those are just some paper clips from my stash, crafty clips. Now look how I positioned the two metal embellishments so they line up even when you turn the page. See? And there's some just embellishments to pull out. You could add pictures on the back if you wanted to, or just leave them plain. That little envelope, I should have covered up that clasp, but I didn't. You could see the washi tape in between. There's a nice little metal brad. That's stuck to the page. It doesn't do anything fancy. That's a metal thing from, I think, Stampin' Up. Just some fun flaps, fibers. See the washi tape in the middle where I put it in the middle of the hinges? There's some decorative cards. There's a panel. I could put a picture there. I could put a picture there. Fun little frame. I love that little clock, that little cardboard chipboard clock. Another little embellishment, and if you notice, that flower lines up with the other metal embellishment that's on the left there too. So they're all lined up in a straight line. There's that little thing I scored and put in a pocket. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of just how to use this Tonic keepsake bookmaker set. I love it. It's really, really easy to use. Once you have it, imagine the projects you can make with all that paper you already have at home. So definitely hope you'll hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I love extending my family with YouTube subscribers. So thanks so much for subscribing. Check out the description box for links to the products, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.